So, good morning. I'm here to talk to you about the Document Foundation. So I've spoken here before, and you've seen me speak about OSI here before. I'm also a director. I'm also a director of the Document Foundation. Now, the Document Foundation was formed about a decade ago to be the home for the community that had previously existed around Sun Microsystems' OpenOffice project. And since then, it has gone from strength to strength. I do a number of other things as well. I'm on the board of the Open Rights Group in the UK. I'm also on the board of the new Consul Democracy Foundation, which is a foundation to produce participative democracy software. And I don't have a job. I don't work for anybody. I'm funded by Patreon donations. And so if you like my presentation, please go to my Patreon and support me. The principles for the foundation, first of all, some naming. LibreOffice is the name of this software that I'm presenting with at the moment. This is a free and open source office productivity suite. It's installed by millions of users worldwide. We estimate there are about 200 million users of this software. And the foundation is funded by donations from those users. So we have an income of between €750,000 and €1 million a year, which we receive in €10 donations from the users of the software. So this software is not funded by any corporation. It's funded by the people who love it. It's also a worldwide community, and you'll see more about that in a minute. But we have over 300 developers, and we have people contributing to the project in almost every well-populated country in the world. It's all hosted by a German Stiftung, that's a capital-anchored foundation. And the objective of the foundation is the promotion and development of Office software available for use by anyone as free software. We haven't put the name LibreOffice in the foundation, and we did that on purpose. We wanted to make sure that there could never be a confusion between the Stiftung and the foundation and the software. Our philosophy is to support the development of both the software and a community and a market around the software. So the reason I'm presenting to you is I believe there is a valuable business opportunity for you as OW2 members and member projects. I believe there is something new in LibreOffice. That may come as a surprise to you, but there is something new that is a business opportunity for you and that I think you should look at. So we're here to develop a community and a project. And we are independent of any particular sponsor. There is no company funding us. There is no company in control of us. There is no company that benefits exclusively from the software. So if you join in with our community, you're guaranteed that your interests are going to be protected along with everybody else's, unlike many, many open source projects today. We have very low barriers to entry if you want to get started with LibreOffice. OpenOffice, when we first embraced it a decade ago, was insanely complicated. And we decided that we would refactor it, that we would make it much more accessible. And today we have easy hacks that you can use to get started, to have something worth compiling. We have hackfests in many countries, including in Paris. We have students coming in through Google Summer of Code. We run workshops. And we consequently have a steady flow of new developers coming into the community. We cooperate with many other entities. We are OW2's newest affiliate, and again, that's the reason why I'm here at the conference this year. We exist by the community, for the community. About the foundation, foundations are for eternity in Germany. A Stiftung, the idea of a Stiftung, if you train as a lawyer in Germany, you get told that a Stiftung was created to maintain Bismarck's grave for all eternity. A foundation is something that exists beyond the duration of the founders, beyond the life cycle of the founders, beyond the lifetime of the founders. And we've tried to design the Document Foundation to be like that. Its objectives can't be changed. Its community is protected through, you'll see in a moment, a complicated structure. The foundation itself acts as a trustee for valuable elements such as trademarks and domains, but is not part of the commercial ecosystem itself. And so it will have to start another company if it wants to do anything which is identified as trading. And by doing that, we guarantee the rights of all participants in our community. We're structured as an elected board of directors. That's elected by a board of trustees, that's our members. The members, if you contribute to the Document Foundation's projects for 3 months and you promise us that you will continue contributing for at least the next 6 months, you can be elected as a trustee. And as a trustee, you get to elect the board of directors and also the membership committee who will check your application. We also have an advisory board, and the advisory board is comprised of companies involved in the ecosystem. If you start a project or a product that uses a Document Foundation project, please join our advisory board. We will charge you for the privilege. We won't give you a vote, but you will be able to directly support the work of the foundation, which is the administrative enabling work of the foundation. And you can read that in the slides later. What we do is public by default. All of our meetings are either open or guaranteed to be published after the confidential subject matter has been completed. And all of our mailing lists are open. Everything is scrupulously beyond the control of individuals. So now on to our projects. The one, of course, that you've heard of is LibreOffice. LibreOffice was the successor project to OpenOffice.org after it was unfortunately abused by an acquiring company. It is the leading free Office suite for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS, and we have widely used and mature products for all of those platforms. The one I'm running here is the Linux version, and I'm running it on a Chromebook. So what you're seeing here is the real software. It's come a long way since the last time you used it, if you don't use it, and you really should go check it out again. It has a significantly revised user interface with a new toolbook bar, which you can configure to be a ribbon interface if you like that from Microsoft. You can also configure it to be a tabbed interface. You can also configure it to be multiple sidebars. It's a very flexible user interface. It's available in 100 languages. Those individual language projects are maintained by local language products in the country where the language is spoken, and consequently the translation is more accurate than the one that you will have seen anywhere else. We have a time-based release mechanism. We do that so that there is no one in control of the releases. It's a release train mechanism, so if you make a contribution, you can be sure your contribution will be in a release of the product within 6 weeks of it being accepted by the project. And that means that every new contributor is welcome, and every new contributor feels welcome. You don't have to wait for the god of releases to decide that you shall be blessed by inclusion in a future release. Current version is LibreOffice 6.3. It's in beta test. Please do give it a try. It's all licensed under the Mozilla Public License version 2. And that means you can easily include it in your commercial product if you would like to. That's important for LibreOffice Online. Now, LibreOffice Online is the same code base as LibreOffice, but it has been designed with, LibreOffice is designed on a model view controller design, and we constructed a new view and also a new controller that allowed us to do tiled rendering. And I'll try and show that to you. There. So LibreOffice Online doesn't have a file manager. It needs to use some other file manager, and the file manager I'm using here is Nextcloud. If I click on the presentation that we're looking at now, it will open the same file as we have just been looking at in the presentation. There it is. And that's exactly the same ODF file that we were using before. And we have a subset of the editing capabilities of the full product. It's a growing subset, but this is a new user interface. This is not just, excuse me, the X Windows user interface turned into a web page. This is a completely new user interface that talks to the LibreOffice model, which is now running on a server somewhere. And let's bravely try and do a full screen presentation with that. When I do that, what happens is the slide presentation is rendered into display PostScript on our server back in Berlin. There it is. And then I have the live presentation in here, which will gradually build for me. Okay, we have another project which is called the Document Liberation Project. Document Liberation is a project to take old file formats and proprietary file formats, work out how they work, and then build a library that imports them and, if possible, exports them from LibreOffice. And the library format that we've chosen is a standardized library format that's used by many other free software projects. So if you have a file format that you know all about, or you have sample documents for, or preferably both, please contribute them to DLP. When you do that, LibreOffice will be able to open those, read those files, but also so will Inkscape, and so will many other free software projects be able to access those files. Document Foundation hosts this project as a shared resource for the free software community to try and make sure that no file is beyond the reach of free software. We also have a standards project called COSM. That's the Community of ODF Specification Maintainers. Unfortunately, IBM pulled out of open document formats a few years ago, and they had been paying the editor of the specification. And there was no one there to take the work of the technical committee and turn it into a polished, ISO-ready specification. So the Document Foundation seeded the crowdfunding of an editor for the specification, and that succeeded well. Microsoft, Collabora, CIB, and the UK government all contributed to that crowdfunding. And as a result, we have ODF1.3 coming out this summer, edited by Francis Cave, who's one of the best-known file format standards experts in the world. If you'd like to join in with this crowdfunding, if you value the existence of ODF for your business or for the free software community, then please get in touch with me. We could do with some more donations for ODF 1.4, which we plan for about 18 months' time. We write all this up in an annual report. It is a really good annual report. It's strange to recommend an annual report to read, but this is worth reading. The new 2018 version is going to be out really soon, and we've started releasing the chapters of it on our blog. And you'll get a good overview of what the Foundation is doing and what the individual projects are doing in there. We also have an annual conference that we've run every year. It's run by a local group in one of our member countries. And this year it's in Almeria in Spain, and I very much recommend that you come along. It's a very friendly conference. You'll be very welcome. And people will be very pleased to help you integrate LibreOffice Online into your commercial offering. I'd encourage you to think about doing that, because not only is it commercially valuable to do so, it's also fun. The best way to use LibreOffice Online is to use it as the viewer for something that you're doing elsewhere in your enterprise work. When you do that, the file emitted by your work doesn't then need to be opened by Excel or by Microsoft Office or by some other piece of proprietary software that these days only exists to view the file that is coming out of a web app. And LibreOffice Online can save you a huge amount of money by eliminating the need for Microsoft Office licenses for anyone but people who create Microsoft Office documents. I'd suggest you take a look at it. I'd be very pleased to help you to look at these things. Unfortunately, the workshop on how to do all that integration was yesterday, and so all the people who did that have now all gone. But we would be very pleased to help you understand how you can integrate LibreOffice Online into your enterprise deployment or into your commercial product so that you can increase the value for your customers and so that you can decrease the cost for your company. Thank you very much.